Chapter 9. The Countdown. Doug's movements became a frantic dance. He navigated the forgotten bowels of Aperture, not with fear, but with a desperate, twitching energy. Air ducts became clandestine highways, unused rooms his hidden sanctuaries. Every wire, every flickering light was scrutinized for the telltale signs of GLaDOS' watchful presence. As he navigated the rotting alleys of the facility, his destination was a dust-choked relic, an old file storage room. Its door wheezed in protest, years of neglect grinding against rusted hinges. Inside, towers of forgotten files loomed like tombstones, each folder a testament to a life now likely lost in GLaDOS' twisted games. Crucially, the room was untouchable by GLaDOS. Her only access was the intercom and microphone inside. The audible screeching of the steel door alerted GLaDOS of his presence.
I can't see you, but I know you're in there. Is it just a coincidence that you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia and now believe a homicidal computer is out to get you? Come on, how likely is that? I mean, really? You're a scientist? What is more likely, that you are being chased by a homicidal computer, or that this is all just the paranoid delusion of an unstable mind? Why not come out of there, and you'll see none of this is real.
The robot's veiled attempt at malice only added fuel to the burning fire inside of his belly. Days blurred into nights as he rifled through the forgotten lives contained within those files. A morbid treasure hunt through personality tests, IQ scores, and notes scrawled by long-dead psychologists. Homeless faces flickered past. The desperate, the downtrodden, the ones lured by promises of $60 and a hot meal. Scientists, too, their ambition extinguished in the sterile light of GLaDOS' domain. Then, a tremor ran through Doug's dirt-stained fingers. The files on the Bring Your Daughter to Work Day participants. The daughters of the deceased staff. They were thin, as was the usual protocol for children. Yet, within those meager pages, a name pulsed like a beacon. Chell. He remembered her. The quiet girl with determined eyes, so unlike the other children with their boisterous energy. Her file revealed something extraordinary. Consistently high marks. Not just intelligence, but in a trait labeled tenacity. It was a word he hadn't thought of in years. Stubbornness, scientists had called it. A score so high, Chell was barred from testing. Doug realized this tenacity could be sculpted into a survival instinct. A wave of something akin to hope crashed over him. Chell, if she was alive, wasn't just a test subject. She was a fighter, clever and strong-willed. Out of the countless lives consumed by GLaDOS, she held the highest potential not just to survive, but defy. And he was the keeper of secrets. The madman with his scrawled maps and stolen canned goods. He wouldn't save Chell. He'd equip her to save herself. The plan, a fragile, desperate thing, began to take shape. Doug Rattman, the paranoid prophet no one believed would become the unseen hand guiding the one person who might finally end this nightmare. The passing time became a relentless countdown. Doug moved like a phantom, his gaunt face lit by the flickering glow of forgotten monitors. Test chambers were dissected, routes meticulously planned with a newfound, intense focus. He deeply familiarized himself with GLaDOS' patterns, the sadistic rhythm of her game. Every corner, every vent held a secret message for Chell. Warnings etched into grime-covered walls, arrows pointing towards hidden alcoves. Not enough to give her the answers, but enough to guide, to warn, to instill a crucial wariness. He could not save her, but perhaps he could arm her. The nights were consumed by a different kind of work. His companion cube became a confidant, listening to his whispered words as he spun impossible plans, strategies born from desperation and a mind teetering on the edge. And then, one night, the battered cube seemed to offer a solution. Not with words, but a flash of memory. The relaxation vault, its gleaming pods shimmering with deceptive safety. Doug's determination surged. He could no longer wait for the cold randomness of GLaDOS' selections. He would find Chell's profile within the monstrous database, prioritize it, and thrust her into the testing chamber that offered the best, however slim chance of escape. The next day was a blur of daring and calculated risks. He crept through the network of rooms behind the test chambers, the stench of old wiring and dust stinging his lungs. Then, the prize. A forgotten observation booth overlooking one of the sealed chambers. The one-way glass mocked him with its promise of anonymity, but he clung to the illusion, trusting that even GLaDOS couldn't peer past the reflection. His heart pounded in his ears. Through the never-ending torment of his burdened mind, he clung to the thread of focus he desperately needed. Shaking fingers danced across the keyboard. Familiar patterns tapped out despite the years. His username, his password, relics of a past life resurrected in the service of desperate hope. Overriding the selection queue, he pushed Chell's name to the forefront. It was a death sentence for countless others, yet he clung to a ruthless calculus. Chell had a chance, a fire within her that others lacked. Their sacrifice, he whispered in the silent room, would fuel her escape. The action felt monstrous. Yet Doug was beyond salvation. He was a strategist now, sacrificing pawns in a desperate gamble against a machine that viewed all of humanity as expendable. He closed his eyes as he hit enter. His ragged breath was the only sound in the cold, empty room. The die was cast. Now, all he could do was wait and guide his unwitting savior with whispers on the wind and messages scrawled in the dust. It was now. The true countdown had begun. Doug, overwhelmingly obsessed with the idea of Chell being his savior, could do nothing but wait. Flooded with anxiety and yet some peculiar feeling of excitement, he returned into the hidden walls of Aperture, eagerly gnawing away at his crime-covered fingernails and gritting his teeth. Sleep was a cruel mirage, an indulgence he couldn't afford. Every blink, every wasted second felt like a betrayal of Chell. He couldn't miss a single monitor flicker, a single distorted word uttered by GLaDOS. The hourglass had been flipped, and with each grain of sand slipping through, his anxiety tightened its grip. His plan with Chell, that fragile thread of hope, was all he had left. Time pulsed through him, a relentless metronome counting down to an uncertain future.